Hey everybody, Sam Shukavage here with my dad, David Shukavage of Carolina Retirement Planners. Welcome to our happy half hour every Thursday, 4:30 right here on our Facebook.
Yeah,
Going Facebook Live.
Facebook Live. This is, how many has this been? 15, 16?
Oh my gosh, I have lost count. I think Amy knows, but I think we're above 16. It feels like we just started 18. We've done eight. This is our 18th happy half
18th
hour.
happy half hour. Dang. And many of you have been with us, I know, from the start. I know a lot of people tell me they're here every time. And once again, if you are listening, say hi in the chat, because we don't know you're here unless you say hi. And it's great to just to know you're here.
Exactly.
Another,
Whenever we see you in person, we know that you're here. So
yeah.
right now we're kind of talking into the abyss. So it's always nice to know who's here listening. Like Cindy. Hey Cindy, welcome.
Hey,
Cindy's
Cindy.
Cindy's here, I think, almost every week.
Yeah.
Almost every week, yeah.
And Sam, what are you drinking today?
Well, so my wonderful husband was supposed to bring me back some beer from Waterline, but he is probably walking in the door any minute, so he's going to be a little late. So I found this Kolsch in the fridge, but it's
Ah,
really nice. It's really refreshing. It's got a little humid again today, but I think that pretty soon we're going to start feeling, then I believe by Saturday it should feel like fall again.
and Waterline makes a great Kolsch. For those of you who don't know, her husband is is one of the brewmasters at Waterline Brewery. So what a great job, make beer
Yeah.
all day, And I am drinking today, I'm just drinking standard iced tea. I'm not drinking herbal tea.
Oh
Somehow I didn't get
man.
to make herbal tea today yet. So I'm drinking the last bit of my half gallon of standard tea I drink during the day. So, but I will celebrate with something stronger in the not very distant future. It'll
Mhm.
probably be the front porch of the city porch for supper, the city club for supper.
Ooh,
We're
sounds
eating
nice.
out, but only outside. That's just my wife and I playing it safe.
Mhm.
So,
Oh,
by the way,
hey.
too,
Oh,
if you are on you're on Facebook, and if you've logged into your Facebook account, down below it'll say share. And if you click share and then click start watch party, it'll tell your friends that you're watching this. They can come join you, and you can make comments about us behind our back. So
mhm.
um,
And just a reminder for those, it's my favorite part of our happy half hours. But for those of you who may not already know, each week we give away 2 bottles of wine in a raffle. And to enter the raffle, pretty much you just got to send us an email throughout the week that says, I want to enter the raffle to win the wine. Actually, this week we asked you to tell us what you liked about autumn. Also send us potential questions, topics. We just want to enter you into the wine drawing. If you were to share our happy half hour, just shoot us an email or a message and let us know, and we will get you entered into the drawing. Or if you pass on any of our emails to anybody, we would be happy to enter you as well. We'd love to give away wine.
a
And
low barrier to entry to get into the thing, but we do appreciate when people share us with others. In the past, you could bring people to our luncheons at the city club or classes, or we'd started some wine, fermented wisdom in the evenings and all, and now it's
that's
kind of
how we got
all.
this idea, was we were going to be doing a fermented wisdom at upstairs of the Front Street Brewery. And we had to cancel it, so we thought, well, how can we incorporate potentially drinking and learning? So that's how the happy half hour was born. So also hi to Matt, to Paula, to Ed, to Lainey and Rick and Barbara. Hey guys, and Jim. So thank you all for joining us. We're
And
so glad to see you
we got a
here.
Rich in there. We got a Rich. Rich is also here.
Mhm.
Kay is here. Kay's here pretty
Ken
much
and
every
Kay.
week.
Hmm.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
So we're off to another little lesson today.
Mhm. Hey, Brad. Well, hey, before we start, I think that today's, Amy will always tell us what day it is here, what the national holiday is, or, whatever day it is. And today is National I Love Lucy Day, which I thought was just wonderful. We were chatting before this started about, what we loved about Lucille Ball.
I don't know, that's one for many of you who may be as old as I am, you remember watching it probably done live in black and white back then. And like the honeymooners, and I went on for years through different venues. But if you talk about an actress who was just lovable to the core, I mean, really as a person was a great person. Lucy was one of those. She was one of those.
Mhm.
And some of those scenes, the Chocolate Factory and the others, are just
Mhm.
icons of American theater now.
Yeah, do y'all have some favorite episodes or scenes from I Love Lucy? I was thinking, I watched the reruns growing up, and I can't pinpoint a specific episode with this, but one of my favorite things about her is because Desi was, a singer and a performer, and she always really wanted that. And so some of my favorite memories of watching her are her trying to be dancing in the background or trying to figure out a way to be a part of it. And so those are some of my favorites.
Yeah, that was a good time. So
Mhm.
yeah. So we're off to another. What's our lesson today?
So, by Saturday, it's going to feel nice and cool, crisp air. If you're up in the mountains, the leaves are changing, autumn is coming. And, the best thing to do when autumn arrives is to start looking at opportunities to harvest your Roth. It's towards the end of the year. You're going to have a better idea of of your opportunities for conversion. So we thought that since last week we talked about the two ways to do a Roth conversion, that today we would say, well, how much should you convert this year, and how do you figure that out?
And just as an aside, this in fact is the gentleman, at least partially responsible for the Roth, is William Roth. He served in both the House and the Senate for from 1967 to 2001. Died in 2003, and uh, and he just hated taxes and thought people should have an opportunity to put money away in a tax-free area. And I thought it'd just be kind of fun to bring him up as an example there of
Mhm.
of what of what where the Roth came from.
Mhm.
That's the person.
So Mike says that you got some splaining to do about the Roth conversions, which I love.
I see Barb and Dan are here too from the mountains. They're here pretty much every week, struggling with their
Yeah.
mountainous internet.
Mhm.
And
Charlene is here, and Diane is enjoying Pretty Pumpkin from Wilmington Brewery. That's one of the other fun things about fall is you have all the spiced beers and the pumpkin beers.
yeah, and let's see, we've got Charlie, Michael, and Dave are here.
Cindy loves the
David,
chocolate factory.
yeah,
It is I think one of probably the most epic, iconic scene from I Love Lucy.
yeah. So,
Heidi's here. Hey Heidi. All right, Dad. Well,
well, I
we've
better
been
get
we've
to
been
it.
chatting along
We
here.
better get to it. We've been
I think
chatting
I think
long enough. Got to go to the whiteboard behind me and start kind of as usual, given the little bit of a lesson here.
Mhm.
And um, when it comes to how much Roth conversion you should do and why, kind of need to understand and remind yourself or refresh yourself on the idea of tax brackets, which isn't it's not exactly a fun thing to do, but we'll make it as entertaining as possible because most of you are actually not in a tax bracket, but probably in several, two, three, maybe more tax brackets. And understanding it is the key to understanding how much you may want to convert in a Roth, at least one of the keys. And up here, I've got the tax brackets for a married couple and a single couple. Now, and over here, I've kind of written them out as a little picture as well, making it easier to see. And you can see that here that if the first $19,750 you make here is taxed at 10%. Okay, so the first little bit, the first 19,000 is taxed at 10%.
And that's if you're married filing jointly.
Yeah, we're doing married.
Yeah.
Thank you, married filing
Okay.
jointly, and we'll get to the single folks here in a minute. But everything between 19,750 and 80,250 are taxed at 12%. And then everything from 80,250 up to 171,050 is taxed at 22%. And then finally, everything between 171,000 and about 326,000 is taxed at 24%. And then above that, we hit 32 and so as shown on the tax table. Okay, so this is, let's dive a little deeper and look at a hypothetical couple to see where they would fit here. And guess what? Today, our hypothetical couple is named Lucy and Desi, you know?
Oh, so fitting.
Yeah, what can I? And, you know, they are both retired. They're over 60, they're 66 years old. They're retired. They're bringing in a pensions and social securities, and then they're taking a standard deduction. And when they're done, their taxable income, the income they're taxed on, is $120,000. So that's their social security and pension. And so that's going to be sitting right about here. That's their taxable income.
So it's not their adjusted gross income, it's after all the deductions.
It's after their deductions, whether they take the standard or whether they itemize. Yep.
Okay.
Now, my gosh, I left it on the printer. Talk a minute. I got to grab it off the printer, Sam.
Typical fathers. Well, oh goodness gracious. I wasn't prepared for this, y'all. I was not prepared to go right now.
I'm back.
Oh, thank goodness.
I knew I forgot something. So I won't try to do this in my head, you know? So if we look at this, let's add up the tax they're paying in each bracket. So everything between 0 and 19,750 is taxed at 10%. That's pretty easy to do. That means they paid $1,975 in tax on that first bracket here. Now, everything between 19,750 and 80,000 is taxed at 12%. And if we do the subtraction and we multiply times 12%, we find out that they have $7,260 here that they're paying in tax on the money in that bracket.
Okay.
So that's this money here.
And that's everybody.
Pardon?
That's anybody who would earn at least 80,000 of taxable income.
Would be in those two. And now in this case, everything between 80,250 and 120 here. This is 120. That's taxed at 22%. And if we add that up, we see it is $8,745.
Okay.
Okay. So you see they're paying tax in 3 different tax brackets. And if I add these 3 taxes up, we get a total of $17,980. What's more, if I take 17,980 and I divided it by 120, I can get their average or net tax rate. And that comes out to 14.9%. So they're paying about 15% taxes on their total taxable income, the average or net tax. Now, this is key. I bet I can go to any one of your tax returns, whether you did it on tax software or whether you had the lady or gentleman down at your tax place do it. And on your tax return, it's going to tell me this 14.9% is your average or net tax. It's going to be on every one. And I'm here to tell you that knowing that number is practically useless. That is not the number you need to reduce your taxes.
Well, what number do you need?
It's a different number. In fact, it's 2 different numbers. So let me ask a question. Get ready to type this in. And Amy, you can type it in or you can chime in verbally.
Oh.
If Lucy and Desi earn one more dollar, they're here at 120. If they earn one more dollar, how much tax will they pay on that dollar? See what people say. How much tax, the next dollar they earn, what will they pay on tax on that?
If they earn more than 120,000. So if they earn
$121,000, how much do they pay in tax?
Okay.
See if we can get an answer in here. Okay, so
Okay, just to be quick here, I'm gonna let you go. Cindy said 22 cents.
Who said that?
Cindy, and then James said 22 cents. Paula, 10%. David, 0.22.
Okay, so we've had several answers that say 22 cents or 22%, and that's correct. See, they're in this 22% bracket, and we call this bracket that they're in the marginal tax bracket that they're in. If they earn one more dollar, they pay 22% on it. If they put one more dollar into an IRA and delay the tax, they delay paying tax on that 22 cents or 22%. That's the first number you need to know. Here's the second number, and let's see if people see we have time to get a quick answer on it. How much more money, or even about how much more money could they earn this year and still only pay 22% on that extra dollars? How much more money could they earn and still pay no more than 22% on those dollars? Let's see if we can get some answers from it. Let us know what they type in. This is the second key number you need to know is the
Cindy
amount.
said $51,050.
Okay, very good. That is it. The headroom in their bracket, if you look at it, everything between 120 to 171 comes out to $51,050. And this is what I like to call the headroom. Now, why is this important? Well, let's think about it. Lucy and Desi, they're bringing in 120,000 every year. They're going to be in this 22% bracket forever. The only place they have to go is up. And so if you think taxes might go up in the future, converting this 51,000 to a Roth, I mean, it makes sense. I lock in that 22% bracket. In a minute, we'll show you 3 or 4 reasons why that bracket is likely to increase. Okay, so one of the, in fact, Sam and I, we have a favorite saying. We've learned it from Ed Slott, actually, whose advanced tax group we're in. And what, what's the saying? What's it always say to do?
He says to always pay tax, or always strive to pay taxes at the lowest possible rate.
You want to get the taxes out of the way when the rates are lower. And by the way, if you think having more money in the account because it's an IRA means that you're going to have more growth when you go to take it out, go back and look at the ones we talked about, what earns more, a Roth or a regular IRA, because it's not true. You're growing the tax for the tax man and yours for you. If you separate them and taxes go up, you'll come out ahead. So that's the logical amount. If they do more than that, they'll get into the 24% bracket, which we'll talk about in a minute, may still make sense for some people.
So Dad, I just want to stop real quick. Rich had asked in the example, the 120,000 in income is net, not gross. And that's correct. It is the taxable income.
It is the taxable income.
It's the taxable income. Well, net, not gross may not be the right term for, but it's a taxable income after the deductions.
After deductions. So one of the things you should all do is you should go home and look at your last tax, or you're at home now. Why don't I go home? So I got to go home. You need to look at your tax return from last year and see what marginal bracket am I in and how much more room do I have in that bracket. Now, let's talk about taxes going up. And Sam, don't let me forget when I'm done with this, I want to make sure I mention about RMDs too. But if you look at this, we have these 3 tax rates, 12%, 22%, 24%. Those rates they're on sale. Taxes are on sale right now. In 2018, we enacted the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, and that reduced taxes down to these levels. But we didn't cut spending. Politicians are good at that. They'll cut taxes, but they have a hard time cut spending. So by law, these rates have to sunset and go up. And on January 1st, 2026, if Congress does nothing, the 12% rate is due to go back to 15. The 22% rate is due to go back to 25. And the 24% rate is due to go back to 28. So it's like you have, at least this year, could go back sooner depending what happens in elections and how fast we want to get out of debt. But right now taxes are on sale. You want to take advantage of it because by law taxes are due to go up. Second reason taxes are due to go up is because we're borrowing more money now with COVID than we have since World War II. Our debt and our GDP are about equal. So you might expect taxes to be driven up by that too, like they were in the 50s, where the highest marginal bracket went into the 90%. The third thing is, well, Lucy and Desi are married. Many of you, like me, are probably out there happily married now. When one of them die, and it's usually us men that crap out and ladies keep going, then you move to the single brackets. And those of you who are on the call who are single can testify. You look at this, where to get into the 22% bracket up here, you had to make 80,000. Here, the 22% bracket is only 40,000. So
Wow.
when they die and they still have RMDs coming out and everything else, it's going to drive the surviving spouse into the even higher bracket. We have a saying that widows have half the income and twice the taxes, you know?
Hmm.
One last thing, you know, when they get to be 72, they're going to have to take RMDs out of their um, IRAs. RMDs, by the way, think about it, they're placed on top of all your other income. So RMDs and withdrawals from your IRAs are always taxed at your highest marginal rate, not the average rate. Okay. But when you have an RMD, you cannot convert it to a Roth. Government says, no, 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 you don't get to convert RMDs to a Roth. You got to pay the tax and put the rest back into the taxable world.
And
This year,
I want to take a second to note that that was a question that we've received from multiple people. They wanted to know if they could use their RMD and convert that RMD to a Roth. And the answer is no.
you can't. Now you can take out more than the RMD and convert it to a Roth, but see, the RMD makes your headroom smaller every year. So you really want to do a lot of Roth conversions before the RMDs kick in. By the way, if you're already so old that you got to do RMDs, you can rejoice this year because there are no RMD requirements. So you can take the money you were going to, have to take out and pay taxes on, and now convert it to a Roth and get it into the tax-free world. So you have this 1 year where you can rescue money from taxes.
Yeah, so this is an excellent year to utilize the.
Now, this is a simple example. There are other.
Oh, hey Dad, could we have just a quick refresher? Kay wants to know if we could a quick reminder on what RMDs are.
RMDs are required minimum distributions. Now at age 72, used to be 70 and a half, you are required to start taking money out of your IRA, 401k, 403b, and pay taxes on it. It's about 4% the first year. So, and then it keeps going up until it's above 10% when you get into your 90s. So it's just said, the government said, man, you had it tax-free for so long. They also are now making your kids take it out quickly instead of stretching it over their lifespan. So that's a whole other topic if we'll cover in a future date. So here's a little bit. Now there's more factors in this. There's things like if you take too much out, it increases the tax that you pay on your Medicare. If you're over 65, your Medicare costs go up. It's called IRMA. We may do some things on that. So you want to talk to your financial advisor. You want to talk to your tax person before you make big changes. But this at least gives you the basics about why you may want to do it. Last week we covered the 2 ways how, and again, that's available both on our Facebook group and on rogo.com. You can go there and see a version of it as well in our educational site.
Yeah, I also, just a quick thing that's come up in the chat from Mike. If you do a Roth conversion, do you have to wait to take a distribution from that Roth if you're over 59 and a half? And the answer, kind of.
The short answer there is the money you converted, if you're over 59 and a half, you can take out what you converted immediately, but growth on that, you may have to wait 5 years. So
and it's really in your best interest to have this be something for the longer term, because if you were to convert it to a Roth immediately and then spend it immediately, you're not necessarily taking advantage of that tax advantaged growth.
And let me share just one more thing here. If I go back here, because we're running close to this half hour, and I like to keep it at half an hour. And let me convert my screen back to this one here. This is a little calculator that we built. You can see that Lucy and Desi had a gross income of 147. They got a standard deduction. They're both over 65 of 27.4. They have 120 left. And you can see we've calculated And you can see on the graph, they filled up the 10% bracket, filled up the 12, and they're into the 22, and they have 51,050 in headroom. So we got this little tool that if you're wondering like, well, how much can I convert? Boy, in like 20 seconds, we could feed this in and figure out the numbers, at least get a starting point. And this is the thing, I don't know why more people don't have this, but this is the kind of tool, you know, financial advisors should have to help clients see the potential and get an idea how much is there. Okay. Boy, Sam, we're pushing 5 o'clock. Um,
Are we ready? Are we ready for my favorite part?
we're ready for your favorite part.
Okay, awesome.
And that's not drinking beer, I assume.
No,
Okay.
it's
I won't talk about my, it could be my favorite.
drinking beer is my second. No, it's down the list. It's down. I enjoy it, but okay. So I need to find something really exciting to do this drawing from. We had a lot of entries this week too. Okay, so our winner this week of 2 bottles of wine, and just a reminder that they come from a local bottle shop called Fermental, located in Ogden. They are a great place to go. They even have if you wanted to go there and have a beer there, they have a little walk-up window, and you can sit outside on their beautiful spaced out picnic tables. It's a really nice spot. But who gets to win 2 bottles of wine shipped directly to their door from Fermental? It is Cummins and Kathy. So
Okay.
congratulations, y'all have won the wine this week.
Congratulations. 1 or 2 last things. If you're on this call and you're not a client, you're saying, gosh, this is something, I wonder what my position is, and you'd like to talk with one of us, go through Facebook, send us an email, or send an email to info@carolinarp.com. And you can arrange either a 15-minute phone call with Samurai, or we can do a Zoom call and just kind of look over your situation and see what advice we might be able to give you. No cost or obligation to that. For you clients, that have been with us for years, that every Thanksgiving we have held Pie Day. We shut down on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and we put chairs in the office, and everybody comes in all day long and eats cookies and drinks cider and has pie. Well, COVID has done 2 things. One is it has made it so we can't sit together in this room and have pie.
But we don't have
Also, our pie place went out of business. Great Harvest Bakery went out of business, like so many businesses have. Yeah. Amy, however, through some of her contacts, has found us someone else to do it, and they've got the trucks and the equipment. So we're going to have drive-by Pie Day, where you're going to be able to kind of come by, go through our parking lot in your car. We can wave at each other. We'll bring the pies out. And so you'll be hearing more about that. I'm just glad that we were able to do that. So we're still looking forward to.
Yeah, it's the Michelle Rocks dessert food truck. So she tells us she can handle our high capacity for pies. So we're really excited to be able to still get to see y'all, even if it's, not in the ideal way.
Okay. And I hope we had a chance to say hello to everybody. I see Jean is here, and I think if we didn't, well, we
didn't. We're so sorry, and we're so glad that you're here.
And so come back next week. We haven't picked the topic yet. Got to come up with a topic pretty soon, but it will be fun. And just load up with your drink, and we have at least, Cummins and all they're all set. So with that, everybody, thank you and cheers.
Cheers.
Have a great week.